you are a hero, an inspiration to so many. You've been recognized as Canada's 100 most powerful women twice. You're an entrepreneur, a best-selling author, a human rights advocate, and soon to be doctor. But it's been a long journey. You were forced into a marriage as a child. You finally left your abusive husband at 26. You started medical school at 39. How do you feel when you look back and reflect on your journey and all your accomplishments?
Oh, wow. It's just so many feelings. A feeling of disbelief sometimes, certainly a feeling of awe, but more than anything, it's gratitude. And it's just that this feeling of, I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to take some very negative experiences and turn it into a positive force for other people. It's very cathartic. It's very healing. Mm-hmm. It's certainly been a long journey. And sometimes people ask me, how did you do all of that? It's not like I had some kind of master plan or some humongous, like, this is what I'm going to do step by step sort of approach. It was all small decisions made in those moments where I needed to make those decisions, where you're sort of at a crossroads. Okay, I have the decision to stick with the status quo and just accept what it is. Mm-hmm. Or I have the decision to push and defy or do something about it. That is scary because you don't know what lies ahead. Sometimes there's so much of fear of the unknown and so much uncertainty because, even though the current situation might be bad, at least you know what it is. Mm-hmm. There's a comfort there. So being able to push yourself out of your comfort zone and take that risk. And if you do that enough times and you act with that courage that, yes, I'm afraid, I'm terrified, but I'm going to do it anyway because I believe in this, that is what makes or breaks the trajectory of your life. So when I look back, I'm just grateful that I had the courage in those key moments to make the decisions that I did. And yes, it was scary. It was terrifying. It was isolating. It was definitely very, received a lot of backlash and negativity from family and people that I knew and community. But at the same time, if I hadn't done that, I never would have known what my life could be like right now. So just gratitude.
At this phase in your life, what is most important to you?
I think what I've always had, the most important thing in my heart is being a good mother and a good role model for my children. But I think the definition of that has evolved over the past couple of years because I thought being a good mom is providing them with all the necessities of life and all the comforts of life and being as accomplished as I can so that I can open doors for them and be a good role model for them. But now I still want to be a good role model. I still want to be a good mom, but the definition of that has changed. I want a role model prioritizing my mental and emotional well-being. I want a role model prioritizing family time, connecting with ourselves instead of all these materialistic things. One of the things that my daughter said to me when I applied to medical school and I was having these doubts, oh my gosh, I'm going to leave a stable career and paycheck and all those things. And my daughter said, Mom, you're teaching us it's never too late to go after your dreams. And that is liberating. That's what I want a role model. Not the fancy job titles and the success that the world has defined us. And I certainly want to give them a comfortable life. But more than that, I want to give them my time and my attention and my love and connection. And we have had conversations in the past 2 years that we never would have had time for, or even the consciousness for. The way we connect with each other and how we become so close. It's very different. Similarly, I'm in a relationship now, which I've always wanted to be in a relationship like this, but I never really gave myself the time to be able to reflect on what I want and need from a partner. And now that I did, it's amazing. So I think that to me is the most important thing in my life, is to be that mother and be that example for my children, that their goal in life should be to be happy. And that is true success. And everybody's success is subjective. Everybody's success is unique. Some people tie success to money or fame or other things. I tie success to peace and impact and giving back and fulfilling my individual goals, even though they may be against what the world has prescribed. And I want my daughters to live a life that is true to who they are, not to follow in my footsteps, but to carve their own path. At whatever stage of life, at whatever unique ups and downs and detours that they will take, to constantly be who they are as we evolve through life. It doesn't have to be static. It's a dynamic thing. We change our goals. Like 5 years ago, I didn't really even know I'm going to be a doctor, not in my wildest dreams. And now I'm becoming one. We're always in the stage of becoming. And the goal is to be as true to ourselves as possible. And I think personally for me is to keep listening to my intuition and my inner voice and keep acting on it. it's difficult sometimes because one of the things for me since I started med school has been loss of a stable income. And sometimes that gets to me, but then realizing that I've never gone hungry, never not had a roof over my head. I'm living a very comfortable life. And I don't want to live in that fear. I don't want to be in a job or a career because of that fear. I want to be in it because it fulfills me. And where I am right now, I've never felt more fulfilled in my life before. And that is what I want to keep doing, is to live with the courage and the faith that I'm living a life that is true to who I am and constantly becoming the best version that I can be.
About 10 to 15 years from now, you finishing med school, becoming a doctor, where do you see yourself, Samra?
Well, I will always keep doing the work that I'm doing. It. Speaking and writing and advocacy is extremely important to me, and that will always be a part of my life. Once I am a doctor and a physician, and I definitely want to be a specialist in mental health. So my goal, my dream is to go into psychiatry. And of course, I would do anything to treat and help my patients. But more than that, I also want to use my platform to educate people, because there's still such a stigma around mental health, especially in communities of color and diverse communities, because we see even the mental health conversations right now happening in Canada on a national level. It's a very white lens. You don't see a lot of people of color and people with lived experience talking about it. And if we do talk about it, it's sort of carved into a survivor mode, but not people with I haven't read a book from any psychologist or psychiatrist who also has lived experience. So I want to start breaking those barriers, that we're not just the victims or the survivors telling our stories. We're experts. We are scientists. We are physicians. We have research and knowledge and expertise. So we don't need saving. We're more than capable of saving ourselves. Right? We need amplification of our voices. We deserve that. We deserve that. And we've always deserved that, and which has been taken away from us. So reclaiming our space and our voices and our narrative is extremely important to me. And I want to be in that space of helping others reclaim their narrative and reclaim their own power.